Welcome back to Trenton State Titans Dynasty here on College Football 25. It's National Championship week. We obviously did not make the National Championship. It's going to be Texas A&M and Penn State. Battle of two teams that think they have some type of claim over Mo Bamba when he was a player at Texas. Basketball, albeit. But this is how the bracket ended up looking and shaping out. Texas A&M went through Virginia and Georgia, scoring a lot of points along the way. 51, 31, and 35 over at least a really good Georgia defense. The Tennessee team that crushed us lost to Georgia. So imagine if we would have played Georgia. It could have been pretty ugly. And it was ugly for us in the first round of the playoffs. Houston did manage to get through Duke, but fell at the hands of Penn State. Clemson really dominated FSU, but they had a bye week pretty much here against UCF. Incredible that UCF ended up being the number 2 ranked team in the country. And then, of course, 55-13 Penn State over Clemson. Monster win to punch their ticket for the national championship. Penn State and A&M for all the marbles here in 2026. Now, I unfortunately simulated to conference championship or national championship week instead of week 4 of the offseason, where apparently you can get all the really good coaches. So we hired Willie Murphy. He's level 21 defensive coordinator who has a deep prestige and an Ohio pipeline. The pipeline, I guess, could be worse in theory. I think it was Nebraska before, but he's unlikely to be that good for us. So that's an unfortunate auto hire. No question. Still holding on to those coach upgrades. I'm not sure if I want to spend all those at the moment. I think we're probably going to keep those through the offseason unless we can get more, in which case I might choose to upgrade and go with the motivator in order to get some type of offseason boost for maybe running back, maybe offensive line, maybe, I mean, there's so many different ways we could go about it, right? So not going to make that call right now. We end up finishing as the number 6 team in the nation. I don't know how that came to be, but Texas A&M, Jesus, beats Penn State and are national champions. We end up moving up to get ranked ahead of Clemson. Why? I don't know. This video is sponsored by Underdog. Did go 3 for 3 on Sunday Night Football with the Giants and Bengals. Did not do anything on Monday Night Football. We're looking to bounce back here this weekend. There are a bunch of picks that I really like, and so much so that I even made an 8-man, which is insane, but it gets flexed out when you do more than 5 picks, so you get a percentage based on how many picks you get. If you get 6 out of 8, I think you still make $21 on a $20 entry, so you come away with $1. Very low probability that something like this hits. However, if it does, it's an insane payout. So I'll just talk about these 8 picks, and then I also quite like Tony Pollard, higher 60.5 rushing yards. Baker Mayfield, higher 247.5 passing yards. Tucker Kraft, lower 38.5 receiving yards. A lot of these are just based on the matchups, right? Like Baltimore allows more passing yards than any team in the league. The Texans are better against tight ends than any team in the league. The Chiefs are the worst against tight ends compared to every team in the league. So we're just playing the matchups and especially, playing good players. In the case of Mayfield and Kittle and Bijan against Seattle, higher 63.5. Demario Douglas, higher receiving yards. Chuba Hubbard, higher rushing yards. Maybe a little bit weird with Jonathan Brooks coming back from injury, right? But he's never played. Chuba has been on fire. You lose your best interior defensive lineman. I'm expecting it to not be very good. And Chuba, again, is just on a roll right now in that Carolina offense. Trevor Lawrence, higher 1.5 passing touchdowns. Could get a bit weird, but Trevor Lawrence is just throwing for 2 touchdowns every single week. And it's not like the New England pass defense is good at all. They actually allow more passing touchdowns than any other team in the league on average. And then Jared Goff, higher 248.5 passing yards against a not-so-good Minnesota defense that allows the most passing attempts in the league, which that stuff does end up mattering. So we're taking some chances here. Big 8-man, but of course I've turned them into 4-mans, 5-mans, 3-mans as well. You can go ahead and rearrange these, put, $1 or 2 on it, see if you can turn it into something. Use code BENGAL on Underdog Fantasy if you're in an applicable state Download Underdog. Use code Bengal on Underdog. You'll get a special pick. You'll get a chance for bonus cash as well that you can play with. They even offer different promos as well, like a 31% profit boost. Use code Bengal. You'll likely have this as well. I'm probably going to apply this to an entry that I like with my favorite 3. So use code Bengal on Underdog. Link is down in the description, and hopefully I made some good picks this week. I mean, ranking us ahead of Tennessee is wild. But if you're going based off the regular season or total record, we did go 12-2, and Tennessee, they lost after annihilating us. They're not really using their head on this one, but I'll take the number 6 ranking. That's a pretty good place to end. But I'm not going to say congratulations. We're going to simulate to the next week. Players leaving. This is going to be a tough thing to see because we are losing a lot of talent. Starting running back, Javius Bond. The agent leaves MI6. Goodbye, Javius. Gone forever. Jeremy Davis graduates. Alex Gunderson graduates. On the offensive line, we actually lose nothing across the entire left side through center. Jose Mazza is graduating, though, as is Aiden Kramer at right tackle. We are losing the transfer defensive end Quincy Wiggins. We are losing multiple transfer interior defensive linemen in Aaron Bryant and Landon Dean, who was an incredible player for us this past season. What a great pickup. I think inside and outside disruptor may have had something to do with his production. Matt Humphreys was here from the start. Ended up being a pretty solid player for us. Although never spectacular, of course. He was solid. He graduates. Melvin Jordan, another transfer, graduates. Soma Latu did not really play very much, but he'll graduate. We lose the transfer Jarvarius Sims. He didn't really see the field as often as I thought he would when we recruited him. And then we lose, of course, big-time playmaking free safety Colby McAllister. It's kind of a big loss. He was a ball hawk. The house call platinum ability really showed up a lot. Alex Alfonso as well. Kicker and punter, we are all good. But that's a lot of starters to lose. It really is. And it's going to be tough to replace those guys because, you know, we recruited pretty well. But are those guys going to be ready to step into starting roles, you know, as maybe redshirt freshmen and sophomores? I'm not sure. Draft results, no one's going to be drafted, obviously. We're just not quite up to that point yet. But we might be able to bring in some big players here in the offseason. You can see our class. We're currently ranked as the number 4 class in the nation. 2 5-stars, 12 4-stars, and 6 3-stars. I think we added another commit here. Quincy Penn ends up committing to Trenton State. That's a big get. You can see a number of offensive linemen here. Ezekiel Tutt is on the way. Don't remember if he's all that good. He does have quick jump, though. So we'll add him to the class. 10 points should be enough to secure his commitment. Who's interested in us from the transfer portal? Hopefully somebody that's actually quite good. The number 1 player in the nation. Number 1 transfer player, Quinnen Ford. He's a slot archetype cornerback who's only a sophomore. He does have house call, blanket coverage, and jammer. I mean, Emmanuel Berlin's been a really nice slot option for us, but Quinnen Ford appears like he might be a pretty big upgrade. We also have a safety transfer junior, CJ Turner. Somebody to take a look at, maybe. It's going to be a lot of players in the secondary. We don't necessarily need those guys, but we will take a look. If they're upgrades, we'll be looking to add them. Defensive tackle, I could see being a need. I don't really know that linebacker is going to be, and I don't really know that corner is going to be either. We might try to go back to the high school ranks. See what that looks like. See, only 89 speed for Quinnen Ford is just not very good. But he's young, though, so there's room for development. He's not really going to get much faster ever. But he's a solid player. I think we would want to add him to the class. So we'll bring him in. Playing style is his deal breaker. And we fit that to a T. We'll send the house, DM the player, and add search social media as well. But I think the high school ranks might be where we look to really upgrade here. We just need a little bit more speed. I don't know that CJ Turner would be a starter for us. We need players that can really run, and I'm just not seeing it to this point. If we're going to bring in somebody from the secondary, you got to be legitimately fast, and we don't really have that. Brenton Coleman, as a transfer sophomore, though, looks legit. Rutgers has a big lead, but we might be able to close the distance. We're going to take Esteban Catapano off the board. I might just prefer D'Angelo Redwine. So, and I think it'll also be easier to get into the class. So that's what we're going to go after. I mean, we're already recruiting a number of outside linebackers, so I think I'm pretty much fine the way we're setting this up. Trayvon Teague, I'm just hoping for a good dev trade, I guess, but he's already a junior college transfer, so he's older to begin with. We're in the lead. We've committed some points to him. I just don't think he's going to make the team. I think maybe looking for some type of big play receiver could be a good move. I mean, we have a number of guys on the board. I mean, the physical archetype, I think, is not bad. I kind of want someone that's a bit of a route runner. Kelvin Peterson could work. We have no hours left. I spent my final points on Maurice Maples. He's got 93 speed at 6'3", 190. We'll try to get in that recruitment. We might end up losing these guys down the board. Like, especially Chance Ansa will have no chance to get. Okay, I didn't really even mean for that to happen. That's okay, though. We did get locked out on Chance Ansa and Cesar Bueno. I mean, we made the decision to go after Maurice Maples. We are number 1 now in the transfer portal. We're doing pretty well. Marshall trying to make pace. If they get him in on a visit, that actually might be worrisome. Eric McGinnis we're going to get. Don Truin ends up committing, as does Ezekiel Tutt. D'Angelo Redwine is close to a decision. We could really push if we wanted him over Boise State, who does have a visit coming up. So we're going to go ahead and change the way we're recruiting him at a hard sell. I don't think we're going to have to do a ton. I really don't think Boise State's going to be able to get back in this. Maybe Famous last words, but I mean, this recruitment's pretty much over. I'll do 55. Okay, Frederick Stockton is a gem athlete. 96 speed, 86 spectacular catch, 78 short route running. We're going to be trying to get in on this recruitment, I would say. We're going to max out 75 points here. Completely spaced on that. Just add the 25. This would be a pretty awesome player to add. The 3 stars can end up being really good. Kelvin Peterson doesn't necessarily move me. Max Folk at defensive tackle. We've recruited kind of a lot of defensive tackle at this point. I'm not sure we need another one at the high school ranks. We're going to take a look at some athletes down the board here. See if we can find anyone that can move the needle. We don't really need a quarterback in this cycle, though, so probably won't be recruiting anyone that appears to be a quarterback. Although these guys could play other positions, I suppose. I just worry with the quarterback scrambler type. They're unlikely to have 90 speed at this point. And if you don't have 90 speed, where else can I really play you? 91 speed for Channing Dimke, though. Okay, I mean, there might be something there. He's got platinum field general. I don't know that he would be playing quarterback for us with 85 throw power, though. I think these will be the last players we end up going after. D'Angelo Redwine in the class, Eric McGinnis, but it's going to be Quinnen Ford, Brenton Coleman, Chris Marable, you know, the 3 transfer players, and then Maurice Maples, Frederick Stockton, Channing Dimke, and David Braun we added. He's a possession type, 6'1", 222. He's a tight end. He's got gold, the natural silver team player. Run blocking's okay, 77 catch in traffic. I feel like he looks like he could be a decent tight end, which is what his position is. So we could use more depth at the position. You know, we're going to graduate Alex Gunderson this year. So I feel like we're done going after new players. We've got our class pretty much solidified, and our targets are certainly solidified. And we will add Quinnen Ford, the #1 player in the transfer portal, picks Trenton State. Brenton Coleman also picks Trenton State, as does Chris Marable. So the 3 transfer portal players we wanted are all in the class now. And now it's just 3 remaining high school players that we're trying to add into the class as well, right? Or no, there are 4. So Braun, Dimke, Stockton, that's right, Maurice Maples. Louisville trying to make a comeback. We're going to get these guys in on visits, and we will try to seal the deal. And also, we're going to change the way we're recruiting them and switch from, of course, like just the regular pitches or the sells to now pitching these guys on their actual interests. And that should be enough to do it. Do we get nice visits? Because, yes, we do. So we get complimentary visits. David Braun with Channing Dimke. It's a tight end with a quarterback. Now, it's interesting that, it's a competitive visit with Maurice Maples, but it does show the complimentary visit with the quarterback. So the quarterback should be getting a huge boost here in Channing Dimke, who, again, we don't even know if we want him playing quarterback with 85 throw power and very whatever accuracy. We only know 2 for David Braun. Doesn't have a deal breaker, so it's not going to officially tell us unless something lines up perfectly. Could be football influencer. And that actually is going to be the only option. So football influencer lines up. David Braun would be nice to add to the class. He's not even a top 1,000 player. But I think there's something there. So we're going after it. So we do end up with 20 coach points now. We're actually going to go ahead and upgrade motivator. So what position group do we want to get the offseason boost? I think you can actually make a pretty legitimate argument for running back. We really haven't had a truly elite one, although Javius Bond was a good player. Javius Bond gone. Joey Boozer, new starter. He does have elite development, but getting him a bigger boost to make him a true bell cow type back, I think could be very valuable, right? Receiver. That's one of those positions where we are incredibly weak right now. Especially if we're going to jump up in conferences, maybe moving to the ACC. Well, this is not going to cut it. This is not going to cut it at all. I really think wide receiver needs to be the position that we use the boost on. O-line, I think, is going to be fine. Famous last words. We're going to get wide receivers and tight ends getting an offseason training boost. It just had to happen. Wide receiver is so weak for us. We've tried to recruit the position as well as we can, but they're just haven't been that many really good players at those positions. This is National Signing Day. We got everyone that we wanted. David Braun, Channing Dimke, Frederick Stockton, Maurice Maples. We end up with the number 5 class in the nation, barely edging out Alabama, which gave us coach points for signing a top 5 class for the first time. Really, really nice. So, of course, I did show this already, but I'll go over the dev traits again. We have star for Steve Meeks. We still don't know if he's any good. We have elite for Byron Willingham. Star for Antonio Marcus. Normal for Frederick Coates. Impact for Amani Owusu. Although I did just see Frederick Coates was a 75 overall, which is a pretty good start for a freshman. George Nwangu has impact. Impact for Chad Loper. Impact for Cornell Funches and Paul Ahmad and Jamal Moses and Matt Russo and Kevin Apple and Brad Marler. They all have impact. Kevin Bragg with normal, and same for Damon Truman. We lose out on Stephen Molinard of the Gators. He has star. Delvin Mock has impact. Elite, though, for Jason Vance. Normal for Trent Godwin. Impact for Damian Fayyad. Quincy Penn with star. Big 4-star right tackle. Normal for Ezekiel Tutt. Normal for Don Truin. Normal for D'Angelo Redwine and Eric McGinnis. Impact for Quinnen Ford. Impact for Brenton Coleman and Chris Marable Jr. and Maurice Maples. Star for Frederick Stockton. Could be big. Normal for Channing Dimke and normal for David Braun. So, not the best class of all time for depth traits, but we are bringing in some talent. And now we'll think about position changes. Quinnen Ford is the new highest rated player on the team, by the way, at an 88 overall. He will not get an offseason boost, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why transfers don't get one. They should. They should get one. But we have a number of athletes who we need to pick positions for. Jason Vance is a 69 at whatever. 73 for Jamal Moses. 69 for Amani Owusu, who does have some pretty good traits to stick at offensive line. David Braun's only a 64. Channing Dimke is a 64. And Frederick Stockton is a 67. Christian Ellis is now a senior. So strong safety, not really too much of a need. Byron Willingham is an 80. Really, really good start for a true freshman. Although I wonder with the offseason boost if Tavon Howard or Greg Austin ends up passing him. That's certainly a possibility. But to my point, safety's not an issue. Right? Safety's not an issue. Chad Loper and Paul Amat are both a 79 overall. Funchess is a 77. Russo's a 76. But they're going to get upgraded over, probably. Corner, I wouldn't say is a huge issue. We have a lot of depth at linebacker, but we're probably going to encourage some of these guys to transfer, like Fox, Evenson, and Garrison. Maybe even Dom Horn as well. Middle linebacker's a need, even with the addition of Bragg and Mock. Now, Dora and Grimes are both young. George Nwangu's a 76. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and make Jason Vance a middle linebacker. He has 89 speed. I think it's his best position for us. Overall, like with the team, not overall wise, but best position for us. So we will make that change. Frederick Stockton's going to play wide receiver. Wide receiver is just a big need for us right now. And that's his best path to playing time. Even if he never ends up seeing the field, it is his best path to playing time at that position. Now, David Braun's actually a higher overall outside linebacker, barely, and fullback. But again, I think he's going to play tight end. And we'll just try to upgrade him at tight end because he has no need to start right away. We have Matt Sims that will play. He might play as a freshman. But we have Tyler Branham. Amani Owusu is the tough one because he has really good abilities, but would get abilities if we moved him to defensive tackle. He has 86 finesse moves and 85 tackle. He's gonna play defensive tackle for us. He's a 76 overall there at 6'2", 300. That ends up being a great addition, a steal here in recruiting. And now he's a 74 overall there. His abilities at defensive tackle are not very good. He just gets recoup. But we're going to lose Shymeek Jones. We're going to lose Esteban Chavis. Skates and Samuels will be gone in a couple of years. Ciante Crick could be a starter this season. So yeah, defensive tackle is a good position for him. What else can Dimke do? He's got 86 spectacular catch. Route running's not terrible. He cannot play defense, so it's something on offense. He could move to running back. It's an interesting idea. 6'4" running back at only 193 pounds is not going to happen, though. So he will be another receiver for us. We have so many. Just not really anyone that's all that good. And then Jamal Moses, I can't imagine he's going to play anything other than running back. Linebacker or safety is probably his other position, given his frame at 5'10", 234. 81 pursuit. He's going to be either a linebacker or running back, but he's going to play running back for us. We need more depth there, and that's a perfect guy to add into the group, where he looks pretty good. We don't really have that power back. I mean, Alfonso Gentle, but Moses is a much better athlete. Durante Basher at 6'3", 220, by the way. He's going to go play tight end. The quantity of receivers is unbelievable. The quality is a very different question. I'll tell you what, though, that is particularly interesting is our defensive line is really not very good. Rich Tobias is going to have to take a big step up. He has impact dev trait. I don't know why I thought it was higher. But he's going to have to get a big boost. In fact, one of these defensive tackles might be forced to move over to play defensive end. Like Ciante Crick, maybe. Maybe even Amani Owusu. He's 300, though. I moved Ciante Crick over to left end. He has a better chance to start there, I would say. He's not even that slow. 73 speed, got 87 power moves, great tackling, hit power is not bad, and I believe he's got a really good dev trait, and he's incredibly strong. He just is unlikely to see the field at defensive tackle this season with all like the older depth we have there, and he's pretty fast. Owusu's going to get redshirted anyway, and at 300 pounds, I don't really want to play him at defensive end. I think he's going to be a monster defensive tackle for us in the future, but just not this year, obviously. We could end up moving a pass rush linebacker to defensive end. 95 hit power. We kind of got to get that on the field, huh? DJ Grimes could eventually end up moving down to be a rush player, just not right now. Like, we're going to transfer a lot of these players out, so I don't actually think it's that imbalanced at the moment. And I could see us starting some true freshman corners just because it's a huge bump up in athleticism. But we'll see what happens in the offseason with training. That'll really end up telling us a lot. Training results are here. Show us something good. All right, well, Henry Streeter remains unchanged, as is to be expected, but Manu Incognito goes up to an 83. That's going to be competing to play. Accuracy's good. He's as fast as he can be. And the biggest upgrade you're going to see with these guys is when they get their carrying upgraded with IQ, we can actually start to take some hits as runners, which is not what we want necessarily. But like Austin Hill, for example, had like 60 carrying. He's got elite development. His carrying really did not get much of a boost. He's still just as fast. Throw power went up slightly. Accuracy maybe went up slightly. I mean, he's very good, but he's got a little bit of a ways to go still, I would say. Joey Boozer playing up to an 86 overall. Russ Cleveland gets a boost up to a 79, but Boozer's the big one. Now an 86 overall running back is a huge addition. He's got 88 juke move, 84 spin, 92 change of direction. His hands are decent, and that really is a lot of carrying with 86 carrying now. All right. He did get an increase. 95 speed and acceleration now as well. Did not really get any abilities, but that's a pretty good offseason for him. 95 speed is legit. Not too bad. Zach Poole got no abilities, but is up to an 84 overall now. Another player with elite development. He is maxed out in terms of elusiveness. Oh my goodness. 90 juke, 88 spin, 90 break tackle, 98 change of direction, 99 agility. I know what you're thinking. Move Zach Poole to running back. But he's our best downfield receiver. I can't really do that. His route running's pretty good. Not really a lot of complaints there, although it is maxed out. His hands are pretty solid, and we see that plays up. His hands are incredible. But yeah, this looks like somebody that could definitely be playing running back. 95 speed, 91 acceleration. I wonder what his overall at running back would be. 6'1", 185. I mean, it's possible. His carrying, though, is only a 68. He's going to stay at receiver. Emmett Lemons up to an 83 overall. Higdon up to an 80. Clay Ivy gets a slight boost. Really did not get a huge boost here. I mean, Zach Poole up into the mid-80s is quite nice. We haven't really had receivers be even close to this before. So, you know, Emmett Lemons has been a return man for us. Has been unremarkable as a return man, but could be a starting receiver for us next season. He's got 96 speed. Tyler Branham continues to not really go up. He's got star dev, but is he maxed out? He's maxed out. He just can't get any better. And he is really good. Kerry Exum, the redshirt sophomore, is up to an 86 overall. Huge boost. Connor Witzman up to an 82. Tim Laval, 81. So our offensive line is going to be better than it was last year. Clay Villain up to an 81. Might end up playing over the transfer Brenton Coleman, who's dealing with an injury right now. Clay Villain started for us as a true freshman. Might do so again as a true sophomore. Jermaine Houston up to an 84. Crowder at an 83. Although does have abilities, so he might end up being a starter. Certainly possible. And then we have some freshmen that will wear red shirts. Emmanuel Tape is up to an 80. I was hoping Dalton Sills would get more of a boost because he has some really great abilities, or at least a lot of them. Jake Keenan playing up to an 85. Was it Keenan maybe who had a really good def trait? No, only impact for him. 88 finesse moves. 93 tackle, though. He could end up being a starter. I mean, Deontay Crick got a boost up to an 83. Does have elite dev trait. 85 power moves. Run stopping is not too bad. And he's got a lot of room to grow. Rich Tobias is up to an 84. Doug Spears at an 82. Rich Tobias, I talked about needing him to get a boost. He got a decent one. 85 power moves. I don't really know that he got a lot better, but the overall at least went up, so that's something. Defensive tackle Shymeek Jones up to an 89. I'm going to start to talk about him like he's a draftable player. 85 power moves, great strength, great IQ, great tackler. Okay, Shymeek Jones, I see you. Don't know what Chris Marable's going to do, but we have, again, a lot of depth at defensive tackle. Left outside linebacker, Draymond Gates. I don't even know if he went up at all. I feel like he was an 80 somehow. Now he's a 79. That's interesting. Mitch Dora, though, as a true sophomore, is playing up to a 92 overall. 5-star with elite dev trait. 90 zone coverage now. We might just leave him to his own devices, not even use him anymore. 81 man, play rec and awareness are good. Hit power is pretty good. Pass rush is not there, doesn't need to be. Block shedding is not very good, but tackle and pursuit are pretty awesome. Speed remains unchanged, but he looks very good. DJ Grimes did not really get much of a boost at all. Then at right outside linebacker, Morgan Merriman sitting at an 82. Evenson got a huge boost. He has 85 speed. He's only a redshirt freshman. He's got 85 power moves and 80 finesse moves now. He got a monster boost. Xavier Evenson has kept a spot on this team, no question. He's got star dev, so cutting him actually would have been a big mistake. No, he's really good. He got a big boost for a good reason. So we're going to be sending Mitch Fox, Dom Horn, and Quindarius Garrison to the Shadow Realm. But the rest will stay. And then at corner, forward, obviously no boost. Berlin's pretty much maxed out. Willie Allen with a big boost, which is important because he's got already great zone coverage. Man coverage up to an 86. Zone's at an 89. He's got 90 speed. Willie Allen's going to be a starter for us probably on the outside. You thought maybe it'd be Alani Allen, who is up to Platinum House Call. He got blanket coverage if he didn't have it already. The big problem with him was his ability to press. It's still very low at a 60, but 93 man coverage. Hands are great. 84 zone. Alani Allen could still be a starter, though. I don't know. It's going to be a battle. I mean, Xavier Nagy, or as I hear Nagy, excuse me, or Nagy, he's got 92 man. He's got 93 speed. Zaire Nagy could be a starter for us now. It's going to be a battle here to see which corners end up get the playing time. We got a lot of good players. Malik Moon, we're going to encourage to transfer, but this is a pretty solid group. And a free safety, Tavon Howard is up to an 80. Do we start him over the true freshman Byron Willingham? Greg Austin really did not get much of a boost at all, at least in terms of overall. Byron Willingham might just be the best free safety we have right now, which is not that weird. He was a #1 player in the nation, 5-star freshman. Tavon Howard's really good, though. And a strong safety, Christian Ellis up to an 86. Michael Roderick gets a bit of a boost. There's Ahmad Bourne, if you remember him. I don't know who's going to start at free safety. It's going to be interesting to see. And then our specialists actually look fantastic. Custom Conferences is here. We, after winning Conference USA and really dominating for much of the year, are going to be moving out. There's just nobody in Conference USA that can really play with us, I think, at this point. Western Kentucky obviously might be the exception. We will be moving Trenton State into the ACC. It's a step up in competition. We would still be one of the better teams here in terms of overall, and this would make it a lot easier to schedule in-state rivals, Florida State and Miami. Miami obviously dominated us early in this season, but this is a really nice upgrade in conference for us. Should make recruiting even easier, and it'll make our path to the college football playoff a lot harder. We are way over in terms of roster size, which means we obviously need to cut down. And I would say that we don't really need Moses Butts. He's got a great name. He simply is never going to see the field. It's never going to happen. So, I'm sorry, Moses Butts. You had a good run. You were the first to go. Don't think we're going to do too much here at wide receiver. You have a lot of great speed here. Pat Cochran's got a lot of good size, but we could probably send him away, but we're going to hold on for now. I remember bringing in Barak Hassan. It was in one of the final weeks of the season, or final weeks of recruiting, and I can't see him ever really seeing the field. I had decently high hopes, but it's just not going to happen. We have a lot of depth at corner now. We really don't need to do much there this next cycle. Just really can't see him getting on the field. Alex Alfonso's not going to play. Jesus Christ, that's Ahmad Bourne. No, it's not. He's gone. Glenn Seiler is just worse than John Hape, and he's older. I know he's been our kicker for some time now, but we can do better. We probably don't need to carry 2 punters, but we're going to continue to do so. Esteban Chavis was a decent player for us a couple of years ago. It's just, same thing with Malik Moon. Like, their time has just passed. And we don't need a 5'6", 193-pound fullback. So Gregory Felton is the final cut. We have moved into the ACC, and we will get ready for season number 4. Our quest to win a national title continues. Our window is opening up. We are up to an 87 overall. We've recruited well, and I will show you guys a real quick sneak preview. My first glance at the prospect list. We'll see if any of these top guys have any interest off the bat in Trenton State. And it would appear that they do not. Some fringe 5-star, some high 4-star type players. Actually, a lot of those. All right. This could be interesting. A lot of high 4-stars have an interest in the Titans. So that's fun, but I'm not just interested in the 4-stars. I want the cream of the crop. I want the 5-stars. We'll be taking a look at a few of these guys, but that'll be in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.